You plant it with your hands, you gather it with your hands, you prepare it with your hands. Hello everybody, welcome back to Burnt Church. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's a beautiful morning and it was cold this morning. This is April the 22nd and we've got a problem here on the homestead. On the homestead you run into these problems, and when the balloon goes up or the shit hits the fan and we don't have all the luxuries that we have right now, these kind of problems are only going to get bigger. So I'm going to show you here today how we're handling this small disaster, I guess you would call it. Our little cub tractors went down and our potatoes needs worked. Well, I'm going to have to work these potatoes by hand. Now we've got a whole field of corn over here in the woods that I'll have to work by hand also if I don't get the little cub fixed. Now my buddy Frog, he's working on it right now. I don't know, it's the clutch is what it is gone out in it. And you just had to grind the gears and it wouldn't quit pulling. So I had to get it fixed. We've got 4 rows of corn over here also. It's starting to come up and I'll show you what it looks like when it's starting to spike out of the ground. But things like this is gonna be hard to deal with if we go into some kind of big depression or if our economy falls apart and we don't have money to fix things. So we need multiple ways of doing one thing. The little cub tractor would be so much easier. I could run through here in a few minutes and have it done. The way we're gonna have to do it now is gonna be a little more work, but hey, I need to exercise anyway. So y'all come on with me, we'll get this done and see what else we can find along the way. You can see here our potatoes, they're getting some foulness around them. That's what we call this here in the South. When anything starts getting growed up like this, we call that foulness. I don't know if that's in the grammar books or not. It might be, I don't know, but that's what I've always heard it called my whole life, is foulness. Anybody else ever hear it called that? These things right here, I'm wanting to keep a few of them. Some of y'all that has watched the channel, y'all probably know what those are. We've got some pretty big skips in our potatoes. Now they are coming up in the skippy spots, but I'm not sure all of them's gonna get filled in. So if we have time in this video, I'm gonna carry you along with me too while we replant a few of these potatoes. Now I don't know, this video may be too long for that. We'll see where it goes. Right here's some of the corn starting to spike up right here. There, on down through here. I think it's going to be pretty thick unless there's some skippy spots, and I can't tell right now. There's not enough of it coming up yet for me to really be able to tell, but the way it looks right now is that it's going to be plenty thick. And a couple of these rows I'm going to try to raise without any fertilizer. I've gotten a little worried. I'm probably going to fertilize 2 of the rows and leave 2 of the rows unfertilized, and we'll be able to see if there's any difference. Y'all remember we had that real thick crimson clover in here, and that was going to be all I used for the fertilize, but I'm got a little worried about it. So I'm going to add a little fertilizer to 2 of these rows. Modern tools like this garden tiller and like the tractor, they are great for gardening when you can keep them running. But in a bad situation, when the economy goes south or when a big depression and you can't afford the parts, maybe the parts ain't available, you can't keep these running. That's when you need something like this. Something like that, you can pretty much keep that going. And if you can't keep that going, a hoe. But between this and a hoe, even in the hardest times, you'll be able to break up the ground and plow and plant your vegetables. This, you can replace the handles, and with a blacksmith, you can do most of all this other stuff. So if that tires up, even in a bad situation, we can fix that. So it's good to have multiple ways of doing one thing. I like to have at least 3 methods to take care of whatever I'm doing. That's the goal. 2 is 1, 1 is none. y'all don't forget, plant something. Put something in the ground or in some pots. Get the feel for it. Taste of that fresh food that you've grown with your own hands. You plant it with your hands, you gather it with your hands, you prepare it with your hands. That's going to taste so much better than anything that you can go to the grocery store and buy. Now, I'm not saying you have to do everything that way. We don't by no means. But we do what we can. And if everybody will do what they can, whenever the shift happens, or the economy goes south, or a Great Depression, you'll be more prepared to take care of yourself and your family. But I thank you for watching. I pray God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one.